in terms of its program and its structure and preparations and things like fellowship committees and all of those nitty-gritty things that go into the event. Of course, we've done very little by ourselves, and again, the host of the event, Chulalongkorn University, and also .Asia APrIGF Secretariat has really done the heavy lifting. But so have you all. We've been here for 3 days, and the point of this session this afternoon is to give us a chance to recap on what's been discussed, what's come up, what our thoughts have been on all of the sessions that have happened under the 4 themes of this year's event. I'm sure we all recall the themes of APrIGF 2017, but to remind us all, number 1, access, empowerment and diversity. Number 2, cybersecurity, privacy and a safer internet. Number 3, digital economy and enabling innovation. Number 4, human rights online. Now, in addition to sessions under those themes, we've also had, as usual, the YIGF, the Youth Internet Governance Forum, running in parallel this week. We've had the development of the synthesis document, and we've had a parallel event of the first experimental Asia-Pacific Legislators Roundtable. So when we planned this session, we were just going to have a series of rapporteurs' reports on each of those things. But instead of just having a sort of a series of reports, we decided to mix it up a little bit, make it a bit more interactive too. So please be ready to interact, to continue the interaction that's been so good this week. So we've sort of got a cast of thousands up here, if you've noticed, most being fellows to this APrIGF event, who've very kindly volunteered, or they've been voluntold to come along and share some reports, some recaps, some thoughts. So we'll start off with a designated rapporteur to lead a report back from each of these 7 sessions. And what the rapporteur will do is give us a couple of minutes and then also share the microphone with colleagues who can add what they might like to add in terms of reflections, even as short as a tweet, if you like, that will contribute to just recapping and looking back on what we've seen during the last few days. And there's going to be a Twitter feed up there on the screen as well. So I think Jennifer from .Asia is going to be trying to capture some of the tweeted comments that come on the floor here. And everyone here, you're also invited to tweet along with us. And whatever you say, beware, will go straight up onto the screen here and be shared with the world. But hopefully we'll have a nice interactive thing to watch as well as listening to the reports. So I'm assisted here by Sunny Chendi, ably, by Sunny Chendi from APNIC, and we're going to be trying to keep time and keep things moving along. So what I'll do is hand over to you, Sunny, to start with the first rapporteur.
Thanks, Paul. Sunny Chendi, and I'm also on the fellowship committee and a buddy for some of the fellows here sitting on the stage. So we'll start off with Vashkar here. He's in the group of Access, Empowerment and Diversity. Vashkar, would you like to share your thoughts, what you captured in the these few days, about 2 minutes?
Okay. I can sit or stand up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can you see me? Believe me, I can't see you. Do you think it is a good governance? What a bad governance by the God. But we don't want to say bad. We want to say God have given an opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, last few days we have discussed about the inclusion, accessibility, participation for the poor and marginalized groups, including women, children, and persons with disabilities. We have a development goals that called sustainable development goals we need to achieve by 2030. And these goals have a clear vision no one left behind. So, when we are considering women's rights, we must consider the rights of women with disabilities. When we are talking about the children's rights, we must consider the children with disabilities and their access. When we are talking about the indigenous people's rights, why we are forgetting that there is a community, it's called indigenous with people with disabilities. Without us, nothing about us. If you exclude a community, then you need to gather again. If you exclude a community, then it would be a barrier for our development. We will not achieve SDG. So last few days, we discussed regarding equal access for a barrier-free society. I cannot tweet because Twitter is not accessible. I can use my smartphone because it is accessible. So ladies and gentlemen, we want a society without poverty and barrier, where everyone equally enjoy internet. So internet governance must be an inclusive one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oscar. Is Anju here in the room? No, she's not here. Okay, we go to the next speaker, Millie. What I suggest is that the lead rapporteur, just say your name and introduce your co-speakers. Not Ali, just wait until Millie, and then just pass the microphone along. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Millie. Firstly, I'd like to thank APrIGF Secretariat to put this wonderful program together on behalf of all fellows and for giving us this opportunity to be here. Since I'm pushing to make this platform simpler and easier for everyone, if there is any moment where I say anything that's complicated or difficult to understand, just raise your hand and I'll know. I'll try and simplify that. I promise not to use any acronyms from here on. I'm trying to summarize the opinions of the access, empowerment and diversity theme. There were a few key issues that were pointed out. Firstly, with the region that we're dealing with, access in terms of infrastructure is limited because it's a remote continent with lots of different kinds of landforms, right from islands to high mountains. We've got everything. Physical infrastructure access is lacking still in a lot of places, which restricts access to internet for a lot of the marginalized societies living in these kind of accessible places. With respect to that, while we want to push for more access, we don't want it to come at the cost of freedom of speech, which is to say that the government should make sure that they are not giving us internet and high-speed facilities at the cost of taking away the freedom to say what we want. And secondly, at the cost of monopolization by big businesses. While we want access and better infrastructure, we don't want big companies to rule that or monopolize that in specific countries, which goes to say that the cost for accessing internet should be a lot lower. The other thing is internationalized domain names, because languages in this region are multiple. To make sure that internet can be accessed in different languages with domain names in regional languages and scripts to cater to the non-English speaking population is something that fraternity is working towards. There are still debates on how this works fully, because yes, it goes against globalization slightly, while where we are moving back to local, but we have to think of the people who really are not using English as their first or any language at all, to talk to them in their own language. Then coming to the good part, in terms of empowerment, we're moving towards more youth initiatives, and we have seen a lot of different training programs for the youth. One of them is the result of why we're all here. So these youth programs are trying to bring in more and more young people to talk at these forums, to participate in internet governance related issues. So that's a good thing. Challenges they really face are firstly sustainability. What happens after the program ends? Where do they take all of this and how do they contribute back to their society? And secondly, when they do start local chapters, the kind of funding issues they could face. So these are a few issues that were identified with respect to this. And lastly, about gender diversity, while it's improving in terms of access, it's still really poor in a lot of countries where women do not simply have access to internet, or or infrastructure, or a smartphone for that matter. And similar with the differently abled people, there are not enough technologies that aid their access or make them help them use it in a better way. Thank you.
Can I just
Hello
say,
everyone, this is Ali Hussain.
just to say thank you. That's the end of the first theme, and I just wanted to say thanks to Vashkar and Andrew and Millie for some very pointed, motivating remarks there. We do want to make this interactive, so if anyone would like to tweet or even stand at the mic and make a comment on this particular theme, then please just go ahead, line up at the mic, and we'll recognise you. We've got a little bit of time. It's a fairly packed program, but please, if anyone would like to contribute, then just let me know. And do we have another speaker on the first thing?
Yeah, I just saw Anju walking in. So Anju, would you like to come up on the stage, or say,
Give us a
speak
tweet.
from the tweet, or
Give
just
us a
speak
tweet,
from the
Anju.
microphone there? Yeah. Or should we come back to you later?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. That's okay, she'll come back later. Ali, you're the next. So now we are moving on to cyber security, privacy and safer internet. And Ali Hussain from Pakistan is the lead reporter here. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Ali Hussain from Pakistan, and thanks, first of all, I would like to thank the APrIGF to give us the opportunity to come here and learn a lot of things which are very useful to understand. And in our sub-theme, we have Awal and Abdullah with me, and they will also be sharing their views. First and mainly in our sub-theme, the workshops we attended discussed about how the laws are being made in the South Asia countries, and also discussed how these laws are being misused by the governments and the other agencies to to breach into the privacy of the public and the individuals. Well, this is really a big concern, and we should have aggressively find the solution, and we should also think like how we can block the ill-minded peoples to utilize the internet. And also we have discussed how the corporates should enforce their IT security, how the management should build the capacity of their employees, and they should have proactive measures for the incident response and all the security breaches, because we have seen many points during the workshop that the employers, and there is no certain SOPs the employers should follow. So this is also a main concern, and we also have a role play session in which was very good. It was very worth, and that we discussed the main and the real-time scenarios, and all brainstorm about the possible options, and that's how we should it's like sparking the pain. So we have to have the cybersecurity within the organization, the SOPs, and all the mechanisms beforehand. We should also have good contact with the CERTs, so as to try to share the information with them. And when it comes to data within when the governments save the data, there is also a big concern about de-identification of the data, because if the law enforcements they store the data, it is a matter of concern that they can use the machine learning and big data algorithms to identify the individuals. So this is a big concern that there has to be the policy to de-identify the data. And Taiwan has good examples. They had recently the legislation, and all they have also the recommendation for other governments, and also we should have we should have some rules for the misuse and abusive use of the internet, and that has to take into account, and internationalized email addresses and domain names can be helpful, and so that we connect the rest of 56% of the population through the internet, and this has to be ensured to build their interest and to address their concerns. And for the takeaways, I have like we should have a updated legislation regarding the cybersecurity and privacy, and that has to be overlooked by the multi-stakeholders independent of the law enforcement.
Thanks, Ali. I request the speakers to keep it within 2 minutes, please.
Hi, this is Nasir from Bangladesh. I am really pleased and very grateful to APNIC and APrIGF for selecting me as a fellow here and giving me the opportunity to be here to learn various issues on internet governance. Thanks, Ali, for presenting the things nicely on behalf of our group. I just want to add little things with it. There are so many talks on encryption, data protection law, etc. in last few minutes. Actually, the term cybersecurity itself is some kind of techie things, and a lot of technical issues are related with this. The proper technical knowledge is badly required for the people from different organizations, those who are running their business. Apart from the technical point of view, I would like to especially mention about the self-responsibility of end users, those who are the actual consumer of the internet. I was really so amazed to see some school students from China presented some of their recommendations on the uses of internet in one of the YIGF session here in Bangkok. This is called the true and active participation of youth in the multi-stakeholder model of internet governance. As a fellow here in APrIGF, my realization is that we must share our learning from here among the people of our community, so that they can be able and they can be aware about the bad things of internet as well. Cybersecurity can never be only technical issues, and all the stakeholders must contribute with each other to keep the internet safe, because no one and nobody, no organization can keep us safe unless and until we really want to be safe. Thank you. Thank you very much.
A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Awal. I'm from Bangladesh. I represent technical community. My colleagues here from our subgroup, they have pretty much covered everything. So I just want to highlight one thing, that I was attending Adli's cybersecurity role play workshop. Attending there, I realized that technical team is one of the most vital team that needs to proactively take measures when there is a cyber-related incident in an organization. So we are the folks that are working behind the machines, and we need to know what's happening inside those machines, who are actually the bad guys or bad things are actually in our house. And I appreciate that IETF has that IETF has encouraged the technologies to consider security first when there is any protocol related activities going on there. So I think as a technical people, we need to focus on the safety of the data that we have, and the users who trusted us with their data need to be respected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Awal. Round of applause. And I see we have someone lining up for the microphone. This is Adli Wahid. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Paul. So from the cybersecurity sessions that I led, I just want to share a couple of feedback or inputs that I received from the participants. So from the cybersecurity role play, I find that a lot of people said that it was useful and interesting, and there were a lot of invitations after the event to do similar things in their constituency or economy. I just want to highlight that the content for that cybersecurity role play is available for free, And if you are interested to get the contents, come see me, or I will publish it somewhere for the organizer to share it with the rest of the attendees. That's number one. We got a lot of questions about basic cybersecurity. So I guess cybersecurity as a topic is huge, but there were a lot of requests, for how to do certain things, how to secure things and how to do security within organizations. So perhaps this is a content that can be considered in the future, other than just talking about issues related to encryptions or internet shutdowns and things like that. Perhaps a separate track just for those who needs to know on how to secure things for their organization or for personal reasons. The other thing that I would like to share is that there was another session that we had about the certs, the role of certs in improving security. So I would like to highlight that maybe the presence of the community, the security community in this event is not that much. We were lucky to have representatives from certs from Thailand, from Taiwan, from Bhutan, and from Tonga at this event. But I think there is a need to probably encourage more of this group of people from the technical community to come and engage with the wider community, because normally they just go to the technical events. I would also like to note that I think the presence of the digital security clinic by Access Now, it's really, really useful, so people can actually consult and talk more about security or security incidents. So that's all I have to share or comment on this topic.
Thank you, Adley. Again, please remember the mic is open, so anyone who's got some thoughts, suggestions, contributions, please feel free. Do we? No.
My English is not good. I want to translate. Okay.
Can somebody translate for him? That is what he's asking.
Okay. In this event, I want to say about the cybersecurity manual for people. It normally people is the knowledge of cybersecurity is not good. Is not.
The point is, all of you doesn't have the headset, which you could have, ask for the headsets from the interpreters so that we'll be able to translate simultaneously. But as you don't have it, I'll have to do it consecutively. So if there's any wrong things that
They can still see the transcript on the wall here, even if he speaks in the language,
Oh. What do you mean? It's in English. Yeah, that's right.
So we can have a Thai speaker is fine,
Yeah, that's
and
why I
we
had to
can,
say that.
for those of us who can't speak Thai, there is the translation on the transcript.
Not simultaneously. No, they're not having a Thai interpreter. Okay, if you think พูดภาษาไทยได้เขาบอกว่าจะออกเป็นภาษาอังกฤษ
Sure, thank you. Go ahead in Thai.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, go.
จากกิจกรรมนี้เห็นอยู่2เรื่องที่น่าจะหนักก็คือเรื่องแรกก็อยากให้มีทุกประเทศเลยนะทำคู่มือที่เป็นเกี่ยวกับ Cyber Security สำหรับคนทั่วไปบ้างเพราะว่าหลังจากที่ไปฟังประชุมเมื่อวานนี้มาแล้วก็นึกย้อนไปว่าจากที่เห็นในชีวิตประจำวันเนี่ยคนทั่วไปมีความรู้เรื่องนี้น้อยมากและไม่ตระหนักว่าทำไมต้องมาป้องกันต้องมีความตระหนักในการใช้อินเทอร์เน็ตแล้วก็เกิดผลเสียอะไรมากมายซึ่งก็มาอ้างว่าไม่รู้อะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับแล้วก็อีกเรื่องหนึ่งก็คือ
Sorry, we have to stop you there. This transcript is not coming up.
Is it coming out? The caption doesn't work as an interpreter. These two things are, one is technology, the other is human, and I'm the human one. Okay, so how are you going to solve this?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Thank you. We
So
thought
I
that
do it
the
consecutively, or what? because
Please go ahead, yes. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you please kindly translate that what he said?
Please, yes, go ahead. Please, thank you.
คือจริงๆแปลในตู้ได้ครับแล้วเดี๋ยวข้อความมันจะขึ้นไปเองครับ
Are you sure?
Yes
Definite.
yes that's right
All right. Okay.
ต้องเริ่มใหม่กันได้ข้อสอนเลย
อาจารย์ศาสีฮะช่วยแปลเป็นภาษาอังกฤษด้วยครับ I'm from Chulalongkorn University. So I do it consecutively or what? No, not as my wish. This is about technical things. ข้อแรกยาก
คือมีปัญหาเรื่องไซเบอร์นี่เยอะมากอยากให้มีการแปลหนังสือแล้วทำยังไงให้คนมาแปล
There's a lot of problems about cybersecurity, and so the cybersecurity things need documentations need to be translated because it's not in Thai, and so it's inaccessible to the Thais. And some of the Thais does have, like him, has some ideas which for him he couldn't express it out in English. But the point that he's here is because he thinks it's an open society. And being an open society, well, I can speak in my own native language, and you should all be able to listen to me. The point is, I tried, it didn't work, and so I'm asking my Achan from Jula to kindly do the interpretation for me. That's it.
ประเด็นที่สองก็คือเวลามีงานที่เป็นแนวนี้นะครับเมื่อกี้มีไม่ใช่สปิเกอร์มีคนที่เฝ้ามาฟังด้วยกันเนี่ยคนหนึ่งเขาพูดมาว่าทำไมไม่มีคนที่อยู่ในหน่วยงานระดับใหญ่หรือมีอาจจะไม่ค่อยเยอะที่เป็นหน่วยงานที่สามารถคุมเรื่องอินเทอร์เน็ตในประเทศไทยอยู่แล้วเนี่ยหรืออยู่องค์กรที่มันสามารถทำพวกนี้ได้เนี่ยไม่ค่อยเข้ามาฟังเลยทั้งที่เรื่องนี้มันเกี่ยวข้องมาก
The other point that he wanted to put across is that internet is a very important thing. It's about communications, and they need to have people who are in the authority to be able to be present around here. And it seems that there's not any authoritative people as far as internet in Thailand is concerned here at all. I mean, let alone speaking about the Minister of Information, which if he thinks that Thailand is necessary to be in the Thailand fold, as they have already said, I don't want to say much because I could be arrested. And I'm a civil servant.
Any Thai
So, although it's all right, I'm already retired. They can arrest me anytime. All right. And so there's no authoritative people from the government or from the state agencies at all that are present here. And so this probably means that we are lacking people who could really might be helpful to us as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's clear, and as I said, I think we want to mix it up, and you've helped to do that. Thank you. Next.
Paul, if I can say something, I think this is an interesting fact that he's been attending all the sessions and he's listening to us when we're speaking in English, but we couldn't understand him. You want to just come up to the microphone, just make a simple one comment, and we had these all technical issues, the internet governance issues here. I think we should really appreciate him for taking that courage to come out to the microphone.
Okay, good afternoon. I'll keep it very simple because I like simplicity, and I will try to do it in a tweet. So hashtag continue to build partnership, hashtag keep following the multi-stakeholder process, hashtag work with us to build solutions for disaster risk, solutions for climate change, but using ICTs, and hashtags CERT. I think one of our fellows wanted me to say that we need to sort of include more Swedes from the Pacific countries to attend the Asia Pacific IGF. And hashtag to all, well done. Thank you.
Now that's exactly the spirit. Thanks, thanks very much, Andrew. Okay, let's move along.
And hashtag to language diversity. What we do is, after every oh, sorry, we have one more. Yeah.
When I'm walk in this hall and see a secret police, he sit down and take a photo. Some people, I didn't understand why they do it here. I understand, and I go to ask the staff. They say me, he just see the secret security. I understand this is Thailand.
Okay, thank you.
What?
I think we're
actually, sorry, this is Bisharad here. I actually had a question, but it was more of a comment, but I tried tweeting it, but I haven't seen my name come up on the screen, so I'll probably wait for a while. Yeah, it could be friends with issue. Oh, yeah, basically my question was, in observation to Bhaskar's work, I think we needed a dedicated session or sessions, plenary sessions on disability and accessibility. And my question is, what are the hurdles that the rest of us face when we want to talk about people with disabilities? Because I don't think they shouldn't be taken as a burden, but as resource, because their background, their knowledge, their skills can help advance various technologies. This is not seen as a resource. And for example, Bhaskar has been doing a lot of work in this field. It would be great if we had a few sessions that he could have spoken on or organized. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the organizers were facing some disabilities themselves to not include someone like Bhaskar as a speaker or a presenter.
Okay, thank you. Good point. This session is for reflections, and as much as we might like to enter into some deep discussions at this late stage, I think the point is to hold these reflections and make sure that we get back to them in due course by the next APrIGF, if not before. So let us move on, keep up the pace, moving on to digital economy and enabling innovation. I think we've got Waqas Hassan to speak on this. Please, over to you.
This is Waqas Hassan from Pakistan. Well, little short on time, so I'll just cut straight to the point. We had 5 workshops on digital economy and the related aspects that address the various issues of access, digital identities, sub-100 smart dollar phones. There were also things about blockchain. That was a very interesting debate, and we ended up with an analysis of the free trade of the trade agreements in Asia Pacific region. But I'd like to speak about a few of the main takeaways that we had from this APrIGF. Well, the first thing is that internet and innovation are decentralized and they are borderless. But the economic and financial systems are geographic and centralized. So, the technology evolves faster than the economic, like the social and the financial and the other models can catch up to it. So, the pace of our own economic models, of the digital, especially the digital economic models, has to be fastened up. It has to catch up with the technology and the innovation that is happening around the world. And there are also trust issues over there. For digital economy to flourish, if you can't trust the payment system or wherever you are using that digital transaction, it can't flourish. So in our view, we think that the only way forward is to have dialogues, multi-stakeholder dialogues, that we are having one right now at the APrIGF, and only that is the key which can address the digital economic opportunities that are available in the Asia Pacific region. we see that, the traditional economic models in the markets, there are there is very tough competition over there. But in the digital world and in the digital economy, we can see a very strong behavior of even monopoly and oligopoly. So it is basically being left unchecked, in my opinion, right at the moment. The competition situation in the digital economy. So we'd like the IG community to see this, to look into this issue and also come up with some solutions as to how to address this inherent disparity between the decentralized nature of internet and the centralized nature of our economic and financial systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Waqas, for summarizing it so beautifully. I'm Nusrat, I'm from Bangladesh, and as he have said almost every point we have discussed, so I would like to add 2 or 3 more points. First of all, e-waste management in e-commerce. That needs to be addressed separately because regular data, social media data, those data protection policies and data management, especially when we are considering how to forget the data, needs to be different in e-commerce. So that was a key point. And then there was a case study based on Korea, how they achieved their e-identification. The panelists there said that a major issue was the convenience of the users because they had a convenience issue while using the identification card. However, in my country, Bangladesh, acquiring the card is the main hurdle because acquiring the e-card is a manual process. It's not an e-process, right? So that's a difficulty over there. And another thing I'd like to add, that is online advertisements should contribute to internet governance. That is, online advertisements, the sites, they're earning from those advertisements. So the site could mandate the advertisements to promote internet governance. So they can display short messages within the advertisement. So that's a suggestion from us, and I'd like to thank my other group members, Amanda, for helping us to summarize. That's all for me. Thank you. I'd like to beg your pardon, but I have to catch an early flight, so I'd like to take your leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Nashwat. Afifa?
A very good afternoon, all of you. I'm Afifa from Bangladesh. So in last few days, I have been attending the digital economy and enabling innovation discussions. So I found those discussions a bit advanced and of course very useful. So I'll be actually highlighting a few of the recommendations that came up from those discussions and will try to blend it with my technical thoughts. So the few of the recommendations were to make the digital economy more efficient, we have to get out of the legacy ICT tools. We need to implement the latest ICT tools to make it more efficient, because we all know that in the evolving area of technology, what was efficient yesterday, it may not be efficient today or tomorrow, so we need to work on that. The second recommendation was that came up from one of the discussion was to ensure that every citizen every citizen participates efficiently in digital economy. We need to make sure that each of them has the access to the internet. And being from a technical background, by deploying IPv6, we can ensure that. In case of IPv6 deployment, there were few issues were running out. Those were common for few economics, but those have been resolved already. But there are few economics still who are having the IPv6 issues. Those are very much unique and doesn't match with one another. Like in my country, I'm having these issues. So I think we need to identify those unique problems. We need to sit with the government and the top management of the companies to work things out. The third recommendations that came up was enabling innovation. Innovation starts with internet. So if someone having a great idea, but he doesn't have the access, he won't be able to contribute in digital innovation. digital economy and innovation. And there is also the other side of the coin. If someone has the access but doesn't know how to contribute to digital economy, we can bring them into the frame of capacity building and development program to help him out to mix together his knowledge and to implement in future. Thank you.
Thanks, Afifa, and thanks to the group as well. So that's digital economy and enabling innovation. Any comments from the floor? And we also welcome any local participants who would like to make comments in Thai as well. No comments? Okay, please put the microphone.
Hello. Sorry, I'm Diana from IGF Indonesia, and it's, believe me, I'm joining this IGF only 1 month. Before I don't know about IGF, and I've been recruited. I have no idea what IGF, and my IGF asked me to learn to Bangkok, and now I know more about IGF. But before, they asked me also to write a book, a pocket book about IGF, which is I don't know how to write it. But now I think after I came here, it's really interested about IGF, and also about the complexity of it. Is I think is I understood now is how to people communicate, to communicate and transfer information to the, especially to youth. About IGF, and for that also, Indonesia will doing the national IGF on October, which is in close time, and in close time also I have to learn a little about IGF, but I'm searching a lot from internet more and more, and for my vision of view. After I attending a lot of classes, which just give me a confused, but I understand again, it's about communication. And now I will be back to Indonesia and writing a book about IGF, and then we also going to info to all the university students, mostly to Jakarta first, about IGF. And we're doing it for the roadmap, and about digital economy. That's our theme in the national IGF. It's about digital economy and sovereignty. Sorry, my English is not good. And also the transformation of digital. That's what we are talking about in our IGF national dialect. And now, before I'm flying back tonight, I would like to ask, how am I put my proposal to solve the, it's not about funding or everything, not, I mean not cash or whatever, but we try to minimize the government involvement in this area, because now I knew. And even though I don't know IGF, but I've been into community, and a lot of community that I've been to is like NGO, which is I have experience on it. So please give me the way to put my proposal to run the IGF more better, and to communicate IGF mostly to youth of Indonesia. And also I would like to do the roadmap of to work with ISOC, because ISOC going to do the like China does, and to the junior school. That's we would like to do also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope to say a few words towards the end of the session that will answer a couple of your questions. Thanks. Let's move on. Over to you, Sunny.
Yeah, the next one is human rights and online, starting with the lead Nika from Philippines.
Thank you. I would like to recognize our teammates for putting up this, putting together the inputs from different sessions. We have 8 sessions in this sub-theme. So we have Asad, Yohani, Shivani, Shimaila, Lisa, and Anam. Right? Yeah. So we have 8 sessions, and we will be reporting. We will be sharing the key takeaways from each session. So do I start first? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to go session by session and just talk about briefly the points that were discussed. One of the sessions was about understanding solutions towards online harassment. Some of the key points that were raised in this session was that when we talk about online harassment, often we place the burden on women to take preventive measures, or the people who are experiencing online harassment to take preventive measures in terms of digital security or self-censoring themselves. And there was a discussion about shifting that burden towards law enforcement agencies, governments, and social media companies as well. It was also recommended that social media companies also take responsibility and stop viewing themselves as just pipes that relay information, and rather than and as content regulators. And then there was a discussion about content regulation and the sort of implications on freedom of speech and other issues that can arise when tackling online harassment. It was recommended that we not only suggest solutions about reporting and these sort of specific solutions, but also come together to reimagine these online communities as kinder places where harassment isn't rewarded. There was also a recommendation from the audience about better education, both offline and online, regarding sexuality and cyberbullying in schools and in other spaces, to engage influencers in campaigns around online harassment, to make sure that this is something that is endorsed by people who other people listen to, and to make law enforcement agencies better equipped technically and also in terms of gender sensitization to deal with these issues. Then another session was on surveillance, and the attempt was to present it through a feminist lens. The discussion was revolved around the need to see surveillance and the differentiated impact that it has on different communities such as ethnic, religious minorities, women, LGBTQ communities, and also to view surveillance in terms of power structures. And so it depends on the position within the power structure of who is surveilling and who is being surveilled. There was a lot of discussion about algorithms and how they're not as neutral as we think they are, and it can perpetuate certain social biases. In terms of recommendations, there were some really interesting discussions that came out of the audience discussion as well. There was talk about counter surveillance, how that can sort of empower the people who are being surveilled to take charge and sort of surveil the surveilled, and there was consensus among the audience that this is a tactic that actually works. Greater data protection laws and privacy regulations. There was also a recommendation that this is part of a systematic problem, that there are not enough marginalized communities and women online. So we need to bring them online to make sure that they also participate in these communities. And there was and the third session that I'm presenting on was very interesting and very interactive, which was Hack to Fight Online Violence, where Media Matters in collaboration with Court for Pakistan presented a mobile application that seek to tackle online harassment and online violence through, for now it was focusing on the particular context of Pakistan and the cultural sort of problems that that sort of lead to online violence, but the aim of the session was to expand its scope within the region. the approach was very interesting because it relied on community support to help with online violence. There was a panel that made some really interesting recommendations regarding privacy, the need to make sure that privacy is maintained for any intervention. Okay, and also to make sure that this app is is accessible, and people can use it more easily, and to make sure that the community doesn't lead to more abuse and online. So I'd like to yes.
Sorry, can I just request you to just focus on your takeaways, please? Because we are running out of time. Thanks.
Sure.
We're going to need to move into
so
tweet
many
tweet
things
mode
happening
very
in
soon.
those sessions. So I'm so sorry.
Understand.
But yeah, we'll try to keep it short. So we have, I'll share the key takeaways for the 3 sessions: Unshackling Expression, a Pathway to Decriminalize the Internet. So there was a presentation of the landscape of freedom of expression in India, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Pakistan. There was also a discussion on the impact of how these repressive laws, these repressive laws impact Southeast Asian journalists. There was also an overview of international standards on, the right to freedom of expression and how to approach this, how to approach this in an international context. And actually, the session was based on a research that that one project had an APC Impact project conducted. So there was also a sharing of a successful campaign against the proposal of having one single gateway in Thailand, and there was a relatively successful campaign against it. Recommendations was there should be opportunity to engage with draft laws that comes out, because many times there has been no engagement at all, or the draft laws are not public. And they wanted to make it public, so cybercrime laws are clumsily worded because they provide ready weapons for incumbent political parties to crack down against their enemies. So we have to be careful in, enforcing cybercrime laws or legislating cybercrime laws. There should be an independent judiciary to monitor consistent enforcement of laws rather than arbitrary interpretation. So another session is actually the access to rights online, digital gap for disenfranchised and marginalized communities. So they have, they discussed about internet access and women's empowerment, affordability, and digital skills and education. So one of the things that they talked about is actually the reason why majority who are offline are women. It's because the high cost of access, scarcity of relevant content online, and there were also barriers women face when expressing freely online, and there's also lack of knowledge in how to participate online. Another is the publicness and the right to be forgotten session, where they talked about they talked about the right to be forgotten can be better addressed by privacy laws, and as the right to be forgotten can assist in enforcement of other privacy rights other privacy rights. And I think there's a lot of debate against the publicness and right to be forgotten, but that's just about it. Yes.
Thank you.
So we have the last speaker, last but not the least.
Shivani, just what's your takeaway in 140 characters?
Just 140 characters.
Sorry for that.
Okay, so one interesting session that we had was on how to make economic, social, and cultural rights more visible in the discussion on internet rights, and especially discuss and unpack the issues and challenges we face as civil society, and how do we basically make more representation of these rights in forums like this. So one of the hacks, if you will, was suggested that because economic, social, and cultural rights are a relatively easier and less controversial rights to deal with, so we can have more engagement on these issues with the government. And secondly, a very important major recommendation through that session was on to have more representation and push and encourage more participation from indigenous groups, because we are talking about culture and diversity. So yeah, this was, I would keep it short.
Thank you, Shivani. Any comments from the floor? Yeah. Appreciate if you can keep it short, please.
We appreciate that in the human rights sessions, there has been an emphasis on freedom of expression and the right to privacy, especially in the context of Southeast Asia. And I'd just like to echo the Cebu Declaration, why freedom of expression is important in Southeast Asia. The right to freedom of expression is a fundamental right. For as human beings, we yearn to express our own humanity.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, please.
สาเหตุที่เข้ามาร่วมนี้เพราะว่ายอมรับเลยว่าผมไม่เคยรู้จัก IGF มาก่อนแต่พอมาเห็นมีประกาศว่ามีกิจกรรมนี้ก็เลยได้มาเข้าร่วมก็รู้สึกว่าผมก็เริ่มเหมือนได้เป็นส่วนหนึ่งของ IGF นิดหน่อยแต่ว่าก็คิดว่าอยากจะไม่ทราบว่าเขาจะมีเมมเบอร์หรือมีการสมัครสมาชิกอะไรไหมที่ทำให้ผมเข้าไปอยู่ใน IGF เป็นเหมือนร่วมกิจกรรมในอนาคตได้ถ้าผมสะดวกที่จะไปครับส่วนไอเดียเมื่อกี้ที่มีการพูดว่าการประเทศไทยเนี่ยเวลามีออกพรบคอมหรือว่าออกกฎหมายไซเบอร์อะไรต่างๆเนี่ยครับหรือกฎหมายที่จะควบคุมการใช้โซเชียลมีเดียอย่างเงี้ยผมว่าที่เขาพูดเมื่อกี้คือให้มีการพับบิกตัวด็อกิเมนต์ตัวเอกสารตัวนี้ให้ประชาชนได้ดูและได้แก้ไขผมว่าเป็นความคิดที่ดีและคิดว่าควรจะมีมานานแล้วด้วยเพราะว่าทุกวันนี้พูดง่ายๆคือกฎหมายด้านนี้ของบ้านเราอ่ะมันเหมือนซอฟต์แวร์ที่มีบั๊กเยอะมากครับต้องให้คนทั่วไปมาช่วยดีบั๊กกันด้วยครับขอบคุณครับ
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to share on the human rights online. It's very relevant to the subtopic. We're organizing, sorry, it's here, I'm sorry. So we're organizing a digital rights camp. So if you want to talk more about human rights online, Engage Media, my organization, is organizing a digital rights camp in October in Indonesia. You can check out our page, bit.ly/campcoconut. So you will know how to apply there. Yeah, the deadline for application is on August 10, so hope you apply.
Thank you, Nika. So the next theme is Youth Internet Governance Forum via IGF. I invite Skyla. Would you and your group just cover the takeaways from your session, please? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to recap some of the works we have achieved for this year via IGF. As usual, we have Day Zero event with interactive activities for our participants to get to know more about each other, the program and the basic understanding of Internet issue. Meanwhile, we are also joined the Newcomers Capacity Building Day together with APrIGF fellows in the afternoon. Role-play discussion is one of the core elements of YIGF. For this year, the topic of discussion is launching the Privacy Protection Bill within the Congress. Participants are divided into 3 committees, focusing on 3 topics, which is the freedom of speech, the right to be forgotten, and advertising strategy. They are recommended to propose an action plan for their own committee for the Congress to discuss. The main goal of this role-play discussion is to let our participants to taste the tension discussion when it comes to the situation that include multi-stakeholders. They have to communicate with each other when dealing with disagreement. Just like in reality, politics is about making consensus to find the middle positions that generally accepted by the others. Internet governance is also the same. We have encouraged our participants to add our outcomes to the synthesis document, to contribute to the broader discussion, and take further steps. YIGF programs have been more integrated into APrIGF main conference while we have such intensive debate on our own topic. Every participant has at least attended 5 workshops. At the same time, we, as the organizer of YIGF, have also successfully submitted the proposal on the topic on social media to IGF, and the workshop was accepted. We will bring our discussion outcome there as well. Last but not least, I would take this opportunity to thank you for your continuous support to let youth voice to be heard. One said, times change and we change with time. We believe we can work together and support each other on the issue of social media in the near future. Thank you very much.
Okay, you can pass it on to your, quickly if you have anything else to add on to what Skylar said.
First of all, a big thanks to NetMission for organizing such a wonderful event for the Youth IGF Fellows. It was a really good program, especially because the role play discussion sort of was complemented by the workshops that we were attending, and we sort of got information from all of these workshops that sort of went into our action plan initiative that we all gave as our committees for the right to be forgotten, the social media and advertising committee, as well as the freedom of speech committee. And these committees were also sort of in connection with the themes of the event. So yeah, it was a really good learning experience, and yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
So first of all, I want to thank everyone to have this YIGF, because before YIGF, I never know there is something like internet governance. But then I learned that internet governance is important to us all, and we can contribute to the internet governance. And also, as a youth, we're going to be adult in tomorrow. So when we know the internet governance now, we know how to manage it. We know how to plan it for the future. Oh, thank you.
Okay, hello. I'll keep this short. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the entire people, the organizers, for giving us the opportunity to attend this event. Basically, we were given a simulation game during one of our days, and it was called a Data War, wherein we realized that trading, the companies we were running, we'd have to trade or sell data amongst each other in order to earn profit. At the end of the game, we didn't really think of the gravity of the situation until our organizers explained to us that it was so easy for you guys to sell and trade your information as if they were pieces of candy. And then that's when some of us realized, oh, if we could do this, there's a high chance that even companies themselves, the actual companies, could actually do what we did. So it kind of brings us or gives us a realization. As youth, we don't really think that way yet. So for this opportunity, especially for that simulation game that the organizers gave us, it really gave us a really good insight. That is all. Thank you.
Comments from the floor? Yeah.
สวัสดีค่ะก็รู้สึกเป็นเกียรตินะคะที่ได้มาเข้าร่วมงานประชุมในครั้งนี้นะคะก็อยากจะแยกร่างให้ไปทุกๆห้องนะคะเพราะว่าในแต่ละหัวข้อในแต่ละเซสชันเนี่ยน่าสนใจทั้งหมดนะคะแต่ว่ามันก็ไม่สามารถทำได้ก็เลือกที่จะไปฟังแล้วทำให้ได้รับความรู้มากขึ้นนะคะว่าเรื่องที่มันไกลตัวเนี่ยมันเป็นภัยใกล้ตัวมากกว่าที่คิดการที่จะมีกลุ่มคนกลุ่มหนึ่งจากทั่วโลกนะคะมาให้ความสนใจกับการประชุมในครั้งนี้มันหมายความว่าพวกเราได้รับการดูแลจากทุกคนอย่างเท่าเทียมกันนะคะและทำให้สามารถเข้าถึงได้ง่ายขึ้นแต่สิ่งที่ขอคอมเมนต์นิดนึงก็คือว่าเนื่องจากว่าเรื่องพวกนี้เป็นเรื่องไกลตัวมากๆทำยังไงที่จะย่อยข้อมูลทั้งหลายเนี่ยให้มันเข้าใจง่ายอาจจะมีเป็นไดอะแกรมหรือว่าอาจจะเป็นอินโฟกราฟิกเพื่อที่จะทำให้เรื่องเนื้อหาที่มันหนักๆซีเรียสมากๆเนี่ยให้เข้าใจได้มากยิ่งขึ้นนะคะเพราะว่ามันจะทำให้เข้าถึงคนส่วนใหญ่ได้มากขึ้นขอบคุณนะคะทุกๆคนที่ทำให้เกิดงานนี้ขึ้นและขอบคุณที่เลือกประเทศไทยนะคะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
I think that's a good suggestion on a IG space infographic. Hope someone can do it. And also thanks to all the YIGF participants, including those school children who came to the APrIGF here. Round of applause to all the YIGF, please. We have one more comment, Mubashir.
Hello everyone, Mubashir Sargana here from Pakistan. I have just got a comment, please don't mind my comment. I thought it would appear over there on the screen and people would be able to see it, but I think it's not coming up and I should see it. So far, what I can see among these recommendations, it seems like, as I said yesterday, it seems like it's just a civil society show. And people are sharing their views of only that of what actually a user says, thinks about their rights. But I haven't seen even a single comment from these participants among these recommendations sharing their thoughts, what actually a government's views are, what actually their approach is. I am thankful to Vikas, he shared a little bit about that perspective. I think government has a say, and there is a good stakeholder, strong stakeholder in this stakeholder model. I can't see a participation of government reps, neither the technical community, business community. I can just see that civil society is sharing their views. I would like APrIGF MSG, though I am also part of that MSG, to work on it to encourage their participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mubashir. Though there are few technical folks here, but yes, it's not that great participation. Indeed. Next is the synthesis document. Mauri, sorry, we have comments? Sorry, I didn't see that.
Sorry. It's not a comment, but it's a question. I'm just, we had, before we came, we fellows we were doing these modules, 4 modules, introduction to internet governance, and I believe some of my colleagues would be interested to know, are we getting a certificate for that? Because we spent 1 month, that is June. So I'm just interested to know.
A good comment. I need to pass that on to the Secretariat or
Thank
someone. Do they get a certificate for doing that course, the fellows? Rajesh, thanks.
Right, so in response to that question, this is ISOC speaking, not me speaking. Yes, you will. Your moderators would have sent you an assessment. If you pass that assessment, you'll get a certificate.
Thank you, Raj. And if they didn't pass the assessment, they can take the course again? Okay, you can take the course again. Whoever, thanks.
This is Guowei, and I think it's, if the people talking about this, some of the technical community or other people is not coming here, I think it's very critical and very important for the people over here. You can invite them to organize a workshop, because if nobody organizes a workshop to invite them to participate in, then we cannot do anything. Because as you know, all the workshop is we are not control. We actually depend on the people propose the workshop, and the MSG group, we are reviewing the workshop. And so if you like to more government or technical community to come into the APrIGF, do it and ask the people you know. Thank you.
Thanks, Kuevo. I think that's a good comment. The national IGFs or the schools maybe can talk to the governments and technical community to put in the proposals for the APrIGF in future. Thank you. Synthesis document, it's Maureen.
Thank you, Sunny. Before I actually go into that, I would actually just like to say, as one of the chairs of the Fellowship Committee, that I'm very proud of the passion and real interest that our fellows have actually demonstrated in their participation during the week and their presentations today. And I'm sure that my colleagues will be very pleased with themselves that they make some great choices. Thank you. Just going on the synthesis document, just some takeaways for me. We had 2 town hall sessions, and for me, I just felt that there was a really strong call for the inclusion of capacity building as another separate area, topic area, and especially incorporating the views of the youth. And I think that our young people here have just been a real credit to that idea of making sure that they're included. But also one of the things that really came out was that The document may have to be restructured a bit. We need to actually have a section. I mean, we're looking at a multi-purpose of this particular document, and it needs to have a section that meets the high-level requirements of the global IGF. But because of the interest of the participants, that the report also needs to reflect the views of the participants in a way where the language and the format of it will enable it to be used as a capacity building resource. So we need to, so that it's actually something useful to take back to the communities. And we need to ensure that we include the issues as they impact on the people within our region, and especially with respect to people with disabilities and specific concerns, as have been raised by our rapporteurs here, relating to access, security, privacy, human rights, and the other topics that were raised. I do have one particular request, and that is that we need more volunteers to make sure that they are actually here they're actually with us and participating in that development of the document to make sure that it actually does reflect what is actually being asked for by the communities. So that's very important. So if you haven't volunteered already, please do. You just have to send your names to Yanis and Jennifer, and we'd really appreciate your contribution. But one final thing that I'd actually like to say, I hope you don't mind, is that I have to recognise Chingatai, who's been the UN representative for the global IGF. And I just want to raise it on behalf of Jennifer, who actually ran a really amazing NRI session where we're looking at national, regional initiatives and national initiatives, and and one of the important things was that there are so many national IGFs sort of like happening, and I think that's a real credit to what we're doing, what the APrIGF is doing, and that's building more interest and more development of internet governance within our region. Thank you.
Chingatai, would you stand up, please?
Thanks, Maureen. And Maureen, is the document synthesis document still open for comments, right? No?
Sorry. Yeah, I think Jennifer said that she was going to leave it open for about another week. And so that we, if you haven't already made a contribution, especially the fellows, we'd really like to actually get something from you. And the platform is comments.asia. Yeah.
Okay, Vashkar want to make a comment on that one. Short one.
As I promised you, I already checked the website and it is totally accessible. Congratulations to the APrIGF. Any visually impaired people can access this by using screen reading software, braille display, screen magnifier, etc. Thanks.
Thank you. That's good to know, Vashkar. Comment here?
Very quick on this synthesis document. I'm wondering, is there a communication strategy based on it to communicate the messages, discussions to the public in the society? Because now it's not just about the policymakers, civil society advocacy, it's concerning everyone in the society, make it ownership to the public. Because I understand that in the Asian Pacific, on the newspaper, TV, even social media discussion, it should be a part of daily discourse. That is the one suggestion. Lastly, I also want to thank everybody again. UNESCO as the IGU also, we have gained so much inputs from this wonderful event, so many insightful Asian Pacific contribution to our ongoing project defining the internet indicator. Really, thanks to all of you.
Thank you. So one after that is the Asia Pacific Regional Roundtable. Charles Smoke, please.
Yes, if you don't mind, I'll stand up and speak because I'm usually more used to standing up when I'm speaking. And I've been sitting for so long. I'm Charles Mock, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Asia Pacific Legislators Roundtable. In fact, a few years ago, I was just like any one of you who were, attending all these IGF and APrIGF meetings. Right now, my role is a legislator in Hong Kong, and there are two things about being legislators. First is when you're given the floor, even when somebody put up that 0-minute sign, I'll keep on going. Second is that if you invite 4 legislators to come to a meeting in Thailand, you will be very lucky if one show up, and I'm the one. In fact, the fact is, of course, legislators, because of all the government commitment and many times last-minute meetings, it's very difficult for us to arrange the schedule and so on. So understandably, a few of them weren't able to make it in the last minute. And actually, our representative from Taiwan, he was really trying to get on the flight last night, but because of the typhoon, he couldn't make it. But Jason Shu, he was very kind to actually be in a video, in our online meeting this morning and share with us many of the updates from Taiwan. Now, in our views, the Legislators Roundtable could play a very important role to be the bridge between civil society and government. I realized that, the young person from Thailand was just talking about, why there were no government people in these kind of meetings. But in fact, that's exactly what we're trying to do. The roles of a legislator is oftentimes, they're oftentimes seen as part of government. But in fact, many of us are not technically part of government because we actually have the role of monitoring the government or legislating, but technically we are not part of the administration in most of the political systems around. So in fact, there's a unique opportunity we hope that given the fact that there are and there will be more and more people from this community becoming members of your parliament and your legislature in future, this would be a good opportunity for us to establish this sort of a platform. Now, for example, this morning we were talking about in Taiwan, the situation with the government's legislature in areas such as digital economy and also in the area of cybersecurity. It would be very nice if there are laws in cybersecurity to catch all the bad guys, but at the same time, we're very worried that there will be overreaching power by the government. So where is the voice of civil society in that process? Legislators across different regions, if we have the opportunity to talk to each other, to understand what's going on in each another, in all these different territories, it will be very useful. Now, what next? What we're trying to do is that we are going to be hopefully drafting a statement from the legislature's point of view, from the legislators' point of view. We've had a lot of these internet users statements before, but I think it will be a very unique opportunity for us to voice out as legislators to the community, to the internet governance community, to tell them from our point of view what government should do. And we are targeting that hopefully we'll get something done by IGF in the end of the year in Geneva. And I hope that as a final call, if any of you in your jurisdiction, you know of legislators in your country, your region, that they would be interested in this sort of efforts that please recommend or introduce them to me and to Edmund. I think we'll be very interested to get in touch with them and also work with them in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Any last comments from the floor? Just a short one? No? If not, whoever. Keep it short, please.
Another 15 minutes, huh? Well, very
15
short.
characters.
Half a minute.
Very short. Because since all the workshop organizers is here, I will recommend you when you do the workshop organized in the next time, don't put all the same group of people together. put a different people in your workshop. They will make your workshop more exciting. Okay.
Thank you, Quo. I think we've come to the end of this wrap-up session. It was a little experimental. We had a mixture between tweets and longer presentations, but that was fine. I think fantastic content, fantastic energy, and a really great commitment from everyone here. So could we all give the panelists a round of applause with thanks. So we are going to move straight into closing remarks now, and we just have a short series of closing remarks before we wrap up the APrIGF for this year. And first we have, to continue the youth theme, we have closing remarks from Sherry Sheck, Youth IGF organiser.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor for me to stand here today and to deliver a closing remark on behalf of youth. I'm Sherry, Net Mission Ambassador and also the organizer of YIGF this year. It's my pleasure to share with you my belief in youth power in internet governance. I started my engagement in internet governance with Net Mission. The beginning phase was a hard time for me since I, as an English major, was spooned by all sorts of technical terms like net neutrality, digital inclusiveness, and so many more in the workshops. When I told my friends about what I was doing, they reacted in the same way. They were all shocked, asking, why, what are you doing with this IT stuff? And in their concept, they think that the discussion regarding internet are only for the IT people. However, I believe that youth shouldn't be excluded from the discussion of internet governance. Multi-stakeholder approach try to cater as far as possible the interest of every stakeholder and is advocated in internet governance. Youth, being one of the major users of this internet ecosystem, is also alleged to contribute to its development. One youth fellow told me this morning, she thinks that sometimes youth might not be fully capable to join certain discussion, which requires solid knowledge, professional terminology, and relevant experience. However, the engagement in conferences serves to inspire them, embark their motivation, encourage them to further study the issues, and finally, lead them to make the inference. I'm very excited to see that the emphasis on youth engagement has been growing. Various regions is local YIGF. HQ YIGF has entered its second year to promote internet governance issues to high school students. Our Net Mission team continuously works on any possible way to push forward the discussion of internet governance among youth so they can be empowered and contribute to the development of internet. Back to the YIGF for this year, here are some key achievements. In this year's YIGF, we have expanded the diversity of our youth fellows. Our youth fellows come from 12 economies, and there is a nearly balanced gender proportion. To integrate with APrIGF, youth fellows also join the main sessions. In total, they have joined around half of the APrIGF workshops and actively participated in the synthesis document discussion. We concluded our 4 days program with a future initiative session, in which concrete actions were suggested to address the internet governance issues in their economies. Many of them voiced out to organize a local YIGF in their economies to look for collaboration with different sectors. Efforts to advocate internet governance won't be stopped on regional level. We submitted a workshop application with the same theme of this year's YIGF, How Does Social Media Shape Our Mind, to the coming IGF this year. We are very glad it has been accepted, and we will bring the discussion outcomes of YIGF to there and continue the discussion on global level. Our youth fellows have been outspoken and have demonstrated their eagerness towards internet governance. I would like to urge all of you to continue supporting youth engagement, and I'm sure youth's power will not stop magnifying. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speech from the local host. So I'd like to welcome Perangong Ramasuta, Vice President of the Chulalongkorn University.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, or is it good evening? Sorry. So it's been both educational and enjoyable playing host to this event, which is, and playing host to all of you who I believe have been brought here together with a common concern, which is the future of the internet. Being hosts, we are preoccupied with two things, access and quality. So I hope that during the past 3 days, we have rendered you with adequate access to Wi-Fi, electricity, and food. Notice I put Wi-Fi and electricity before food. Okay, as well as access to knowledge, discussion, translation, and of course, Thai hospitality. Sorry, we could not get you any access to access to any booze because it's against the law passed by our military junta to be selling any alcohol within 300 meters from educational institutions. And of course, we hope that our dedicated staff who have worked tirelessly day and night, even weeks and months before you get here, have impressed you with the quality of everything you have access to at the conference. Having lived under a military regime for the past few years, we learned to adjust to ways information and communication have been controlled. And so we consider the fact that we have been able to host this conference, which has been live broadcast online throughout the past 3 days, quite freely and smoothly, a small sign of success. And an evidence that freedom still remains on university campus and in the English language, which the junta is not so fluent in. And let me assure you, there's no secret police. What happened is, as we try to achieve inclusivity with free registration and also free food, we have unfortunately attracted a group of free riders who enjoy eating off conference food and getting free gifts of conference. Actually, there are people who make a living this way. So after we spotted quite a few of them loitering, in the area, designated area, we alerted campus security, who dispatched a few plainclothes security staff, not police. They are campus security staff, but they are in plain clothes. And so because they report that there have been cases of stealing in past conferences. So as hosts, we need to ensure that inclusivity goes hand in hand with the security of our participants. In any case, I'd like to thank all involved in making these past few days a success. My heroes and heroines are all the supporting staff at Chulalongkorn University. Okay. Namely, the folks at the Center of Communication Center at Chulalongkorn University, the IT staff, everybody who worked tirelessly in the IT, the transportation people, human resource who take care of the food and the catering, and all the Mahitaladhibesra staff who have remained with us despite the fact that this is a holiday. Yesterday was a holiday because it was King's birthday. Big hand to all of them. And also and all the student staff, we have the students, 30 students have been recruited from different faculties, and they have also worked tirelessly in the past few days. And also my colleague and also assistant to the president, Dr. Chulalongkorn, show himself. Okay. He has been helping manage this conference together with Kun Atit Surya Wongkun. Okay, you know Atit. And Kun Jen Pasit. Okay, who's been involved with YIGF of the Thai Netizen Network. Okay, and all of them have made this into a fruitful conference, and I'm so thankful to all of them. Thank you very much. And as a token of appreciation of this honor that we have been given as host of the 8th APrIGF, I'd like to present to Paul the APrIGF Bangkok flag. We have this specially made. Here. So that he could pass on to the next host in Vanuatu. It's like passing the torch. And also we have a little gift. From Thailand, so that Paul, who I have heard is outgoing, will remember us by. Okay. It's breakable. So thank you, Paul, for everything, and thank you for hosting this. Thank you. And I hope to see all of you in Vanuatu if I make it there. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for that kind speech and the kind gifts to be passed on to the next host. I suppose everyone's aware by now of the next host. The APrIGF 2018 will be held in Vanuatu in August next year. That's in the Pacific Islands. I don't know if we have a slide to illustrate what a beautiful place it is. Unfortunately, Vanuatu couldn't join us here to welcome you all, but you will be welcome, and all the details are going to be coming up in due course very soon. So, in just a few final remarks from me as the chair of the multi-stakeholder steering group, I really would like to again thank the sponsors of this event and the hosts, Chulalongkorn University and the NBTC, for a really successful APrIGF number 8. I think every year they've got better and better each year, and I really hope that you have all seen that here in Bangkok. We've had a lot of focus in this session on the actual content and proceedings of the event, and a few interesting questions and suggestions about how the event should go in future. And I want to point out to each and every one of you that the future is in your hands, that as Kwo Wai Wu pointed out, the program for the next APrIGF is yet to be seen. It will be developed under the oversight of the multi-stakeholder steering group, but it will be developed based on the proposals that come from the community. So any and every one of you who would like to contribute to the content next time, whether it's to encourage governmental participation, more civil society, technical community, new topics, whatever it is that you feel is important, please keep an eye out and participate in that process, because the whole content that comes here to this event is crowdsourced from you. If you'd like to go a little bit further, the multi-stakeholder steering group is quite an open group as well, and if you would be interested to come into that group to help with the whole process of designing the next meeting, of selecting the program, then that's open to you as well. So I think on that note, we should all thank those who did the hard work last time, and I'm not talking so much about the MSG here, but the people who put together the proposals, who came, who brought the speakers, who came and spoke and made the program what it was, I think very successful. I'd also like to say thank you to you all individually for participating in what was, I think, one of the most interactive and participatory APrIGFs that I've seen. And I really think, as someone said before, that some of the energy that has come about here has come from the fellows and from the youth who've been here in great numbers and really helped to make this a meaningful event for all of us. So let's give us all collectively a round of applause for that contribution, please. Now, it's been my privilege to chair the multi-stakeholder steering group for a few years now. In a refinement of our procedures, we now have term limits, I'm very glad to say, and I've come to the end of my term as the chair of the multi-stakeholder steering group. So I'd like to introduce the incoming chair, Raj Singh, and what I would like to do is hand over to Raj as the incoming chair the flag for the next event, and and for Raj an opportunity to say a few words in closing this event. Thank you, Raj. It's yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Paul. So first of all, it was remarked to me earlier that it looks like Paul and myself had coordinated our wardrobe this morning. We're both wearing pink shirts, as you can see. So yes, we did. We spoke this morning. Actually, we didn't, but I guess we did well. So thanks very much to all of you. You know, Paul, I must say that Paul has set a very high benchmark. He's been our chair for 4 years. I think it's been an interesting journey. I think we've seen the regional IGF really grow in that time. So the benchmark for me has been set very high, but I think with my fellow MSG members, and of course Paul will remain on the MSG for continued support and advice, we look forward to seeing where else we can take the regional IGF. I, like with many of my MSG colleagues, have been involved in the regional IGF pretty much since its inception. And it's been so great to see it grow and grow and grow. And I think this event here in Bangkok, you know, I would say this is probably the best we've had so far. Every year we do it better, and I think this year the diversity in particular has been completely outstanding. So congratulations to everyone who's involved. Next year we're going to Vanuatu, as Paul has said. It's in the Pacific Islands. Yes, it's going to be a bit far for some people, but we hope that it'll have a different flavor. The region is very large, and I think there's a lot each sub-region from this region can contribute. So let's see what Vanuatu does for us next year, but I'm sure it'll be great again. One last thing I just want to say, a lot of the speakers today talked about the multi-stakeholder model, you know, that served us well as the internet for many, many years. Really, it's how we define ourselves in many respects. However, I think we can't be complacent about that model. You know, it's been used by many people now. Governments are using it. The private sector has used it. Civil society is using it as a tool, if you like. But what we also see now is that some people are trying to stop using it, trying to find alternative models to get what they want done. I think from what we've heard, what we've seen, the multi-stakeholder model, from the way the internet runs, operates, is governed, has worked, and it continues to work. But we cannot be complacent and say that let's not, you know, let's move on to something else. The IANA transition, for those of you who are involved with that, you know, that was a multi-stakeholder process. But what we see is that some people seem to have now stepped off including some governments, including some private sector players. So my plea to you would be that, you know, please let's not be complacent about the multi-stakeholder model. We've got to keep working on it. The work is not done yet. And we look forward to all of you helping us along the way in making it happen. So thank you very much. And again, thank you, Paul. Much appreciated. Thank you. So I guess this is the end. Thank you. Oh, no. Jennifer says no. No, there's something else. So we'll have to go to someone else. So come on, Pengwa, say a few words, come on. Pengwa was instrumental in setting up the regional IGF, so come on, Pengwa.
Three generations.
Yeah, 3 generations, yeah, come on. He was the first chair as well, of course, so he's pushed many of us into the river, as you would say.
They said I have operated a sweatshop in the past month or so, so it comes back to me.
No, I wanted to make a point about Paul before Peter was supposed to give him that little token, and to say that Paul has done a really outstanding job. You know that for a conference, there are 2 parts to it. One is the logistics, and Peter Rong has done a fantastic job. Wi-Fi has been excellent, so has been the food, right, in that order. And Paul has been doing the programming part of it, the committee that did the programming. And the thing about this committee is that we are all volunteers. So how do you motivate volunteers to do a good job, right? So you need an inclusive, a really open leader to do that. And Paul has been outstanding in motivating the group to do a really outstanding job in the program. So if the programming is good, you know who to give credit to. It is Paul. And Raj is right, Paul has set a very high benchmark. And actually, Raj, I had a little thing for you as well that, before you take on this leadership role, a little statement by you've done already. And the statement is that you, as chair of the MSG, would act with justice, dignity, impartiality, represent us internally and externally, and in all transactions, act in the best interest of the APrIGF. Will you say, I will?
I will, I suppose. I don't have a choice.
I got him married to the APrIGF.
So, but how come you didn't say that and he didn't say that? Why do yeah.
It's a new tradition.
Okay, we'll have to remember that one. So, thank you, Pengwa, for those comments. Are we done yet? Jennifer, are we done? That's the end. Thank you. Khop kun la khao.